Phase 1. The hook. Visuals. A slow, macro shot of raindrops trickling down a windowpane. Through the distorted glass, the neon glow of a distant, futuristic cityscape is visible. The focus is soft, the mood is quiet and contemplative. Voiceover. There is a feeling, unique to our age. It's a quiet hum of anxiety that settles in after hours spent staring at a screen. A subtle sense of derealization. You look at your own hands, and for a fleeting moment, they seem like foreign objects, tools you operate but do not truly inhabit. This isn't a flaw in your character. It isn't a bug in your software. It is a psychological condition of living in a world that is becoming less and less physical. I call it the ghost's dilemma. It's the feeling of being a consciousness adrift, a ghost in the shell of your own life, watching the world through a pane of glass. But there is a cure. And it's not found in a new app, or a productivity hack, or another layer of technology. The solution is hidden in one of the most iconic works of cyberpunk, in the quiet, overlooked relationship between a heavily augmented cyborg and his very ordinary dog. Stay with me, and I will show you how this simple, analog connection holds the key to grounding yourself and falling back in love with the real world. Visuals. The shot of the window pane slowly fades to black. Title card appears in a clean, minimalist font. Batou's dog and the love for the physical world. A low, ambient synth track begins. Phase 2. The problem. Visuals. A sequence of melancholic, hyper-detailed shots. A person's face, illuminated only by a laptop screen in a dark room. Fingers scrolling endlessly through a social media feed on a phone. A half-eaten meal, gone cold next to a keyboard. The shots are still, almost like paintings. Voiceover. You know this feeling intimately. You've just finished an 8-hour stretch of work, or a multi-hour dive into the digital abyss. You close the laptop, and the silence that rushes in is deafening. You stand up, and your body feels like a rented vehicle. The joints are stiff, the muscles are asleep. It's the shell you use to navigate physical space, but your mind, your ghost, has been somewhere else entirely. You walk to the kitchen to get a glass of water. You turn on the tap, and the sensation of cold water on your skin is almost a shock. It's a sudden, sharp reminder of a reality you've been insulated from. For a moment, you feel a flicker of presence. But it's fleeting. You look out the window at the city. The lights, the traffic, the distant figures walking under streetlights, it all feels like a film. A beautifully rendered simulation that you are observing, not participating in. Your memories of the day feel less like lived experiences and more like cached data. Did you enjoy your lunch, or did you simply process the fuel? Did you speak with a colleague, or did you just exchange packets of information? Visuals. A close-up on a person's eyes, reflecting the blue light of a screen. We see a subtle twitch, a sign of exhaustion. The reflection shows a blur of code and text. Voiceover. This is the internal landscape of the ghost's dilemma. It's a state of chronic, low-grade dissociation. You aren't insane. You are simply over-adapted to an environment of abstraction. An environment of notifications, emails, data streams, and simulated worlds. You've spent so long navigating symbolic realities that you've begun to forget the grammar of the physical one. And here is the hidden cost, the quiet tragedy of this state. It's not just about feeling disconnected. The real cost is the erosion of meaning. Meaning is not an intellectual concept. It is a felt experience. It is forged in the crucible of physical presence. The warmth of a shared glance, the sting of cold air in your lungs, the comforting weight of a book in your hands, the shared rhythm of walking beside someone you love. These are the things that build a life. When we exist as ghosts, these moments become flattened. They lose their texture, their depth. They become just more data points in the endless stream. Love becomes a chemical transaction. Grief, a neurological event. Beauty, a set of aesthetic parameters. The world becomes a collection of objects to be analyzed, not a reality to be inhabited. This is the slow path to a nihilism so profound you don't even notice it's happening. You just wake up one day and realize you feel nothing at all. You are a ghost, haunting the ruins of a life you forgot to live. Phase 3. The solution. Visuals. A slow pan across a detailed illustration or stylized animation inspired by Ghost in the Shell. We see the character Batou, a mountain of a man, his eyes replaced by cold, cybernetic lenses. He looks imposing, inhuman. Voiceover. To find our way back, we must turn to a guide from a future that is rapidly becoming our present. His name is Batou. He is a special ops soldier from the world of Ghost in the Shell. And on the surface, he is the ultimate embodiment of the Ghost's dilemma. Batou is more machine than man. His body is a military-grade prosthetic shell. His eyes are cybernetic implants that can see in multiple spectra and interface directly with the net. He lives and works in a world where consciousness, the ghost, can be uploaded, downloaded, and hacked. His reality is a permanent blur of physical combat and digital warfare. He is a man who could, at any moment, legitimately question if the world he perceives is real or a sophisticated hack. He is, by all measures, a prime candidate for complete dissociation. A man who should be utterly lost in the abstract. Visuals. Shift to a warmer, more intimate scene, recreating the famous moment from the films. Batou is in his cramped, cluttered apartment. It's a stark contrast to the sleek, cold world outside. And at his feet is a Basset Hound named Gabriel, with long, droopy ears and sad eyes. Voiceover. And yet, he is arguably the most grounded, most fundamentally human character in his world. What saves him? What keeps his ghost tethered to his shell? It is this creature. His dog. This dog is not a plot device. It is a philosophical statement. It is the solution. I call it the anchor of the real. The core idea is this. In a world that constantly pulls our consciousness toward abstraction, complexity, and virtuality, we require a powerful, simple, and consistent anchor to the physical world to maintain our psychological and spiritual equilibrium. Batou's dog is his anchor. It is the one part of his life that cannot be digitized, that refuses to be abstracted. It is a living, breathing, stubbornly analog counterpoint to his cybernetic existence. Through his relationship with this animal, Batou performs a ritual that saves him from becoming a true ghost. Let's break this down into 3 principles. Voiceover. Principle 1. The sovereignty of the senses. Our modern world operates on a hierarchy of information, and at the top is abstract data. Numbers, text, code. We are taught to trust the chart, the notification, the headline. Our own sensory experience, what we see with our own eyes, what we feel with our own hands, is considered secondary. Anecdotal. Unreliable. Batou's dog obliterates this hierarchy. A dog does not communicate in data. It communicates through presence, through senses. The feel of its coarse fur under Batou's prosthetic hand. The specific, musty smell of its coat after a walk in the rain. The sound of its claws clicking on the floorboards. The sight of its tail wagging, a simple, honest expression of joy. These are not data points. They are direct, unmediated sensory truths. When Batou pets his dog, he is not processing information, he is having an experience. He is forced out of the network and into the undeniable reality of his own living room. This re-establishes the sovereignty of his senses. It reminds him that the most profound truths are often the simplest ones, the ones you can touch and smell. Voiceover. Principle 2. The ritual of maintenance. In Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence, there's a beautiful, quiet scene. Batou arrives at his safe house. The world outside is a web of lies and danger. What does he do? He performs a ritual. He opens a can of dog food. He scoops it into a bowl. He puts it on the floor. This act is mundane. It's a chore. But in his world, it is a sacred rite. The demands of a living creature are beautifully, refreshingly simple. The dog needs to be fed. It needs to be walked. Its water bowl needs to be filled. These are not complex, existential problems. They are simple, physical tasks with clear, immediate feedback. This ritual of maintenance is an antidote to the paralysis of abstract thought. You cannot endlessly ruminate on the nature of your own consciousness when a dog is nudging your hand, reminding you it's time for dinner. The care of another living thing forces you into a rhythm that is governed by the physical world, not the digital one. The sun rises, the dog needs to go out. The sun sets, the dog needs to be fed. This rhythm is grounding. It's a form of meditation disguised as responsibility. It's a constant, gentle pull back to the here and now. Visuals. An animation showing the cycle of a day through the window of Batou's apartment. Morning light, afternoon sun, evening neon, late night rain. Inside, the simple routine of caring for the dog remains constant. Voiceover. Principle 3. The Unsimulatable Connection. Batou's world is filled with AI, androids, and cyber brains. He converses with machines that are likely more intelligent than he is. But these are connections based on logic, data, and predictable algorithms. They are, in a word, simulatable. The bond with his dog is not. A living animal is a vortex of glorious, biological chaos. Its moods are its own. Its affections are earned, not programmed. Its comfort is a nonverbal language of presence. When Batou is wrestling with the deepest questions of his own humanity, am I a man, or just a machine that thinks it's a man? The dog offers no intellectual answer. Instead, it rests its head on his lap. This simple, physical gesture of connection cuts through all the noise. It is an unsimulatable truth. It tells him, without words, you are real to me. This moment is real. This is something no AI could ever truly replicate, because it is born not of processing power, but of shared, embodied existence. It is the chaotic, unpredictable, and inefficient nature of this bond that makes it so powerfully real. Visuals. A final, powerful shot. Batou sits in a chair in the dim light, his massive frame slumped in exhaustion. The dog, Gabriel, sleeps peacefully at his feet, a small, warm presence in the cold, cyberpunk world. Voiceover. The metaphor is simple, but profound. In the vast, turbulent, and formless ocean of digital information and abstract anxiety, we are all ships at risk of being swept away. The anchor of the real is the practice of deliberately dropping a heavy chain into the physical world. It's the conscious choice to connect with something tangible, something sensory, something that requires our physical presence and care. It doesn't have to be a dog. But it must be something that pulls you out of your head and into your hands. Something that reminds you that you are not just a ghost. You have a shell. And it is through this shell that life is truly lived. Phase 4. The application. Visuals. A shift in style. The imagery becomes clearer, more focused, and instructive. We see close-ups of hands touching different textures. Rough wood, smooth stone, a waxy leaf. The tone is practical, a gentle guide. Voiceover. This philosophy is not just a beautiful idea to contemplate. It is a practice. A set of techniques to combat the ghost's dilemma in your own life. You need to find your own version of Batou's dog. Here is a 4-step guide to forging your own anchor of the real. Step 1. Conduct a sensory audit. Our senses have been dulled by the firehose of digital stimuli. We need to recalibrate them. This is a simple, 5-minute exercise. Do it right now, as you listen. First, stop everything. Close your eyes if you need to. Focus on your sense of hearing. What are the sounds behind my voice? Not the music, the ambient sounds. The hum of your computer? The hiss of a radiator? Traffic outside? The sound of your own breathing? Just listen, without judgment, for 60 seconds. Now, shift to your sense of touch. What are you feeling? The pressure of the chair against your back. The texture of your clothes on your skin. The temperature of the air. Place your hand on the surface in front of you. Is it cool? Smooth? Grainy? Run your thumb over your own knuckle. Feel the creases. You are reawakening the nerve endings that have been ignored all day. Next, your sense of smell. Take a slow, deep breath. What does your room actually smell like? Old paper? Dust? The faint scent of coffee? We filter these out as background noise, but they are a constant, invisible layer of reality. Finally, open your eyes and practice seeing. Don't just look at things, see them. Pick one object in your field of vision. A pen. A cup. A plant. Look at it for 1 full minute. Notice its specific color, not just red, but the way the light creates a gradient of crimson and shadow. Notice the tiny imperfections. The dust. The scratches. See it as if you've never seen it before. This audit is a system reboot for your consciousness. It pulls you, forcefully, back into your body. Visuals. Each part of the sensory audit is illustrated with clean, macro videography. Sound waves for hearing, a fingerprint pressing on glass for touch, particles in the air for smell, and an intense focus pull on a simple object for sight. Voiceover. Step 2. Adopt a ritual of physical maintenance. You need a responsibility that is stubbornly analog. This is your anchor. It doesn't need to be a living thing, but it must be physical, and it must require regular, hands-on maintenance. Choose your anchor. It could be a houseplant. Not just owning it, but truly caring for it. Learning its specific needs for light and water. Wiping the dust from its leaves. The ritual of watering it is a moment of quiet connection to a biological process. It could be a craft. Learn to sharpen your own kitchen knives on a whetstone. The focus it requires, the precise angle, the steady pressure, the feedback of the steel on the stone, is a deep form of mindfulness. Or take up knitting, woodworking, pottery. Any craft that transforms a raw, physical material through the skill of your hands. It could be brewing tea or coffee with a manual method. A French press, a pour-over, a traditional tea ceremony. The ritual of measuring the grounds, heating the water to a precise temperature, the patient act of pouring. It transforms a simple beverage into a 5-minute sensory meditation. The key is that the ritual is repetitive, physical, and its outcome is tangible. You can see the healthier plant, feel the sharper blade, taste the perfectly brewed cup. It is proof of your agency in the physical world. Visuals. A montage of hands engaged in these activities. Tending to a bonsai tree. Sharpening a knife. Pouring water over coffee grounds. The shots are slow, deliberate, and satisfying. Voiceover. Step 3. Practice sensory spiking. The ghost's dilemma can creep up on you in the middle of the day. You suddenly realize you've been on autopilot, that the last hour is a blur. You need a way to break the spell in the moment. This is sensory spiking. It's a manual override for your dissociative state. The technique is to jolt your nervous system with a strong, simple, physical sensation. Keep a lemon or a lime at your desk. When you feel the ghost taking over, cut a small slice and bite into it. The intense, sour shock will instantly shatter the mental fog and pull you right back into your body. Go to the sink and plunge your hands into a bowl of ice water for 30 seconds. The intense cold is impossible to ignore. It's a full body alarm that says, "You're here, now." Step outside, even for just a minute, without your phone. Feel the wind or the sun on your face. Pay attention to the change in temperature. It breaks the hypnotic seal of your indoor, climate-controlled environment. Sensory spiking is not about comfort. It's about reality. It uses your body's primal wiring to remind your mind where it actually lives. Visuals. Quick, sharp cuts. A lemon being sliced, juice spraying. Hands plunging into icy water. A person closing their eyes as wind blows through their hair. The editing is faster, more impactful. Voiceover. Step 4. Curate a physical totem. In the film Inception, the characters carry totems, small objects whose physical properties they know intimately, to distinguish the dream world from reality. We need the same thing for the digital world. Find a small object that has a unique and pleasing physical presence. A smooth, heavy river stone. A brass coin with an intricate design. A small piece of polished wood. It should not be your phone. Your phone is a portal to the abstract. This totem must be a door to the physical. Carry it in your pocket. Throughout the day, especially when you feel stressed or disconnected, take it out. Don't just look at it, feel it. The weight in your palm. The cool or warm surface. The specific texture. Let it be a discreet, personal anchor that you can access at any time. It's a silent reminder, held in your hand, that a physical world exists beyond the screen. It is your small, personal piece of the real. Phase 5. The proof. Visuals. Return to the world of Ghost in the Shell. We see the stark contrast between the chaotic, glitchy, dangerous digital world and the quiet calm of Batou's apartment. Voiceover. Does this practice actually work? Does it provide anything more than a momentary distraction? For proof, we look back to Batou. His entire world is designed to make him question reality. He fights cyber terrorists who hack people's memories, creating puppet agents who don't even know they're being controlled. He navigates environments where his senses can be directly fed false information. The digital world, for him, is a minefield of deception. The abstract is fundamentally untrustworthy. What does he trust? In a pivotal scene, he comes home after a violent, disorienting mission. He is wounded, exhausted, and psychologically frayed. The city outside is a cacophony of digital noise and neon lies. But inside his apartment, reality reasserts itself. The clink of the dog food can. The happy, expectant yelp of Gabriel. The solid, comforting weight of his pistol on the table. These are the things he can rely on. These are the things that are unhackable. His ritual of caring for his dog is not a hobby. It is his sanity check. It's how he distinguishes the signal from the noise. Before he leaves for the film's final, most dangerous confrontation, a journey into the heart of a technological illusion, he looks at his dog and says, "Wait for me." It is a promise, not just to the animal, but to himself. A promise to return to the real world. His anchor gives him a reason to come back. Visuals. A shot of Batou looking at his dog, his cybernetic eyes showing a flicker of something soft, something human. It's a moment of profound vulnerability and connection. Voiceover. This is not science fiction. This is ancient wisdom dressed in a cyberpunk aesthetic. The core principles of the anchor of the real are found in the oldest traditions of human psychology and philosophy. Zen Buddhist practice has for centuries emphasized direct, unmediated experience over intellectualization. The Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh spoke of mindfulness in washing the dishes. He taught that you should not rush through the chore to get to the better thing, like a cup of tea. You should wash the dishes as if it is the most important thing in the world. The warm water, the smell of the soap, the feel of the plate. Because in that moment, it is the most important thing. It is the reality you are in. This is the ritual of maintenance. Modern psychology has rediscovered this. Therapists use grounding techniques to help people suffering from anxiety, panic attacks, and PTSD. These techniques are nearly identical to the sensory audit. They instruct patients to name 5 things they can see, 4 things they can feel, 3 things they can hear. It is a clinical method for pulling a mind lost in the abstract terror of memory or anxiety back into the safety of the present, physical moment. The logic is undeniable. We are embodied creatures. Our consciousness did not evolve in a vacuum. It co-evolved with our bodies, in a direct, sensory relationship with the physical earth. Our sudden, total immersion in a disembodied world of information is a profound evolutionary mismatch. The ghost's dilemma is the system error that results from this mismatch. Therefore, consciously and deliberately reintroducing strong, physical, sensory anchors into our lives is not a nostalgic indulgence. It is a necessary act of psychological maintenance. It is debugging our own consciousness. Phase 6. The call to action voiceover. The world will continue to pull you toward the abstract. The screens will get brighter, the simulations more convincing, the notifications more demanding. The ghost's dilemma is not a problem you solve once. It is a tension you must manage for the rest of your life. Your task is not to reject technology, but to balance it. To be as intentional about cultivating your connection to the physical world as the architects of the digital world are about capturing your attention. So I have a question for you. A first step in your practice. Look around your room right now. Pause the video if you need to. Find one simple, physical object that makes you feel grounded. In the comments below, tell me what it is. Don't just name it. Describe it. What is its texture? Its weight? Its story? I want to know about your anchor. Let's create a catalog of the real, together. I will read every single one. Visuals. The screen fades to a dark, atmospheric shot of the channel's logo, a stylized, glitching ghost icon. Text appears on screen. Voiceover. If you believe that our humanity is found not in escaping the world, but in connecting with it more deeply, then you have found your place here. Subscribe to Digital Ghost, and join the search for meaning in the machine. Visuals. A final end screen card appears. On one side, the subscription button. On the other, a thumbnail for another video. Voiceover. Now that we've explored how to ground ourselves in the physical, you need to understand the forces that are trying to pull you away. The other side of this coin is understanding the architecture of our digital cages. To continue your journey, watch our video next. The illusion of choice in the digital panopticon. Click the link on your screen. The search continues.